It served as an assembly place where the conflicting pre-Islamic trends used to come to terms. It was the headquarter, wherein all the affairs of the Muslims were administered, and consultative and executive councils held. The mosque being thus constructed, the Prophet, PBUH, next turned his attention to cementing the ties of mutual brotherhood amongst the Muslims of Medina, Al-Ansar, the helpers, and Al-Muhajirin, the immigrants. It was indeed unique in the history of the world. A gathering of 90 men, half of whom immigrants and the others helpers, assembled in the house of Anas bin Malik, where the Prophet, PBUH, gave the spirit of brotherhood his official blessing. When either of the two persons who had been paired as brothers passed away, his property was inherited by his brother in faith. This practice continued till the following verse was revealed at the time of the Battle of Badr, and the regular rule of inheritance was allowed to take its usual course, but kindred by blood are nearer to one another regarding inheritance. Sa'd al-Mad 256. Al-Quran 875, Brotherhood in Faith 2. Quote Muhammad al-Ghazali again, was holding subordinate every distinction of race and kindred and supporting the Islamic precept, none is superior to the other except on the basis of piety and God-fearing. Fiqh Sirah p. 140,141, the Prophet, PBUH, attached to that brotherhood a valid contract. It was not just meaningless words but rather a valid practice relating to blood and wealth, rather than a passing whim taking the form of accidental greeting. The atmosphere of brotherhood and fellow feeling created a spirit of selflessness infused deeply in the hearts of his followers, and produced very healthy results. For example, Sa'd bin Arabi, a helper, said to his fellow brother Abdur Rahman bin Auf, I am the richest man amongst the helpers. I am glad to share my property half and half with you. I have 2 wives, I am ready to divorce one, and after the expiry of her iddah, the prescribed period for a woman divorcee to stay within her house unmarried, you may marry her. But Abdur Rahman bin Auf was not prepared to accept anything, neither property nor home. So he blessed his brother and said, kindly direct me to the market so that I may make my fortune with my own hands. And he did prosper and got married very shortly, by his own labor. Bukhari 1553, the helpers were extremely generous to their brethren in faith. Abu Huraira reported that they once approached the Prophet, PBUH, with a request that their orchards of palm trees should be distributed equally between the Muslims of Medina and their brethren from Makkah. But the Prophet, PBUH, was reluctant to put this heavy burden upon them. It was, however, decided that the immigrants would work in the orchards along with the helpers and the yield would be divided equally amongst them. Bukhari 1312.